Today, we're diving into the pretty amazing story of frugal innovation. We're going to trace its journey from, a simple idea born out of necessity, all the way to a powerful global strategy that's changing how we think about creating value. So let's get right into it. For decades, the answer always seemed to be, yeah, of course it does. You probably picture innovation happening in these shiny, high-tech labs with just massive budgets. But what if the exact opposite is true? What if the real breakthroughs are actually sparked by having less to work with, not more? This is the fundamental question that frugal innovation really forces us to ask.
So on one hand, you've got the traditional way of doing R&D. Just throw more money, more engineers at a problem to add more features, which, surprise, surprise, almost always means a higher cost. But on the other side, you have frugal innovation, and it's a totally different way of thinking. It asks, what is the one thing this absolutely has to do? It strips away everything else to deliver that core value at the lowest possible cost. And look, it's not about making a cheaper version of something, it's about completely rethinking the solution from the ground up.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to explore the roots of this whole movement, see how it completely flipped the global flow of ideas, watch how it's merging with today's biggest tech trends, and finally, we'll understand why this frugal mindset is, frankly, more important now than ever before. The story of frugal innovation doesn't start in some corporate research park in Silicon Valley. Nope. It starts on the ground, in places where necessity is the mother of invention isn't just a cute saying, it's the only option you have. The philosophical seed for all of this can really be found in the Indian concept of jugaad, and it's more than just a word, it's a way of life. It's a mindset that sees an opportunity in every obstacle. Think of stuff like makeshift tractors built from old water pumps or DIY irrigation systems. It's all about making do with what you have, using your gut and a bit of flexibility to create a quick, working fix for a problem that needs solving right now. Now, what's so fascinating about this is how you can actually map out the evolution of this thinking. You can see the journey from that informal, scrappy approach like jugaad or China's Shenzai model, which is based on imitation, to more philosophical ideas like Gandhian innovation, which is all about social value for everyone. And all of that leads us to frugal engineering, a systematic corporate strategy focused on being super cost competitive and creating systems that are reliable and can scale up. It's like jugaad grew up, put on a suit, and got ready for the global stage. And this right here is just a perfect illustration of the concept in action. The Tata Nano wasn't just some cheap car. It was a masterclass in frugal engineering. The designers literally questioned every single component. Why have 4 lug nuts if 3 are perfectly safe? Why use 2 windshield wipers when one can clear the driver's view just fine? They even used adhesive bonding instead of welding in some places. Every single decision was a calculated move to strip out cost without ever compromising the core mission, getting a family safely from point A to point B. So for the longest time, innovation was basically a one-way street. But these principles of frugal design, they started a revolution that turned the entire math of global innovation completely upside down. Yeah, the old model was pretty simple. You design a product in a developed country, maybe take out a few features, and then sell a slightly cheaper version in an emerging market. It was always a top-down, one-way street for ideas. But then something really interesting started to happen. Those clever, durable, and frugal products, the ones designed for the tough constraints of emerging markets, they started to find fans back in the developed world. The whole flow of innovation began to reverse. And that's what we call reverse innovation. It's when a company develops a product specifically for the needs of a place like rural India or China, and that product ends up being so good and so valuable that it gets adopted and sold everywhere, including in the US and Europe. And you can see this happening all over the place. The Dacia Logan, right? A simple, tough car made for Eastern Europe, became a huge hit in Western Europe. Or GE's portable ECG machine, the Mac 400. It was built to be carried in a backpack to rural Indian villages, but then it found a whole new market in American ambulances and small clinics. These weren't just low-cost knockoffs. A lot of the time, they were actually better solutions for specific needs that the over-engineered Western products just couldn't fill. But the story doesn't end there, not even close. Today, that frugal mindset is merging with 2 of the most powerful forces shaping our world, digitalization and the big push for a sustainable, circular economy. So welcome to Frugal 4.0. This is where digital tools just supercharge that do more with less philosophy. Instead of building tons of expensive physical prototypes, we can use digital twins to test ideas virtually, saving a bunch of time and materials. We use cheap little IoT sensors to monitor equipment in real time, fine-tuning energy use.
And we use AI to predict when a machine is about to fail, preventing costly shutdowns. It's really the ultimate marriage of high-tech and low-cost. And now, this same thinking is being applied to what is probably the most resource-hungry technology of our time, artificial intelligence.
You see, traditional AI models are absolute beasts. They're data hungry and they consume incredible amounts of energy. Frugal AI flips that on its head. It's about creating lightweight, efficient models that can run on simple devices, not in giant server farms. And the goal here is amazing, a staggering 80% cut in energy use. That makes AI accessible, affordable, and sustainable for pretty much everyone.
This whole drive for efficiency makes for a natural partnership with the circular economy. Think of it like this. Frugal innovation is all about minimizing the resources you put into a system at the very beginning. The circular economy is about getting rid of the waste that comes out at the end. When you put them together, you get this incredibly powerful closed loop of resource optimization.
And this leads to some incredible real-world climate solutions. Take this, for example, an organic soil moisturizer that's made from fruit peel waste. So it's a frugal product created from something that would have just been thrown in the trash. But get this. It can absorb 50 times its own weight in water, which drastically cuts down the need for irrigation in areas getting slammed by drought. That is frugal innovation and the circular economy working together in perfect harmony.
So, why does this whole story about being resourceful matter so much right now? Well, because the constraints that used to be unique to emerging markets, things like scarcity, volatility, and uncertainty, those are now global realities for all of us. And the data here is just crystal clear. During an economic downturn, the first instinct is to slash the R&D budget. But history shows us, time and again, that this is a huge mistake. The companies that protect their innovation spending during a recession, they don't just survive, they thrive. As this chart shows, they blow their peers out of the water, outperforming them by 30% in shareholder returns over the next 5 years. Frugal innovation gives you the playbook on how to keep inventing, even when money's tight.
This quote just nails it perfectly. Instead of seeing a downturn as a time to hide, smart companies see it as a massive opportunity. A recession is the moment you can invest in the ideas and tech that are going to power your growth when the economy bounces back. And frugal principles are what let you do that strategically.
Which leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. We've seen frugal innovation go from a survival tactic to a corporate strategy, from the streets of India to the very heart of AI. As things like resource scarcity and economic pressure become the defining facts of our time, the question is no longer if we should innovate frugally, but really, can we afford to innovate any other way?